What's up everyone, welcome back to the shop. I want to make a small jewelry box that has a sliding dovetail. I think that would look really cool. But if I'm going to make a project that's small like this, I want the wood to be absolutely perfect. I want it to have the most beautiful grain that I can find for something like this, so it has that wow factor. It may take a little work to find that piece that I want, but I think ultimately it'll really be worth it. For a project like this, I just want to let the wood do the talking and stay out of its way. That's a pretty nice chunk of wood if I say so myself. So now I'm going to take this, rip it down its length. That way I have a top and a bottom. Now what I'm planning is to have this whole thing be held together with a sliding dovetail, but that's a pretty large dovetail. I have to remove a ton of waste, especially in that top. So I'm gonna go to the table saw, remove as much of the waste as I can before I go over to the router table, because I don't want to put all that pressure on my dovetail bit. I put a dovetail bit in my router table. Now I'm gonna cut the dovetails for the top piece first. Whenever I'm good with the way that looks, then I'm gonna switch over to doing the bottom piece. So I'm gonna keep my router bit at the same height, make sure everything matches up. Sneak up on that cut for the bottom of the jewelry box and do a whole lot of test fitting, taking my time to make sure I get the right fit for this. Unlike joinery, I don't need to make this super tight. Actually, I kind of want it a little bit loose, so it's really easy to slide the box open and closed. When I was routing the dovetails, I ended up uncovering some hidden cracks, but no big deal. I've got some black CA glue and some accelerator, so I'm gonna put glue in there, spray it, let it dry for a few minutes, then reroute the dovetails. That should make sure that it doesn't crack anymore, and also maybe give it kind of a cool look of that black against the walnut. My dovetail looks pretty good, so now I want to make a tray in the box bottom. So I made a template. This is just some MDF, and I've made templates a million different ways, but it's always good to have an excuse to break out the laser. Essentially, I'm just cutting a rectangle, so nothing fancy here. So I've got my template made. I am just going to trace out the rectangle, then go over to the drill press, remove a bunch of the waste. That way I don't have to worry about using the router to do this. Then I can take the template, stick it back onto the box with some double-sided tape, make sure that's pressed down really good. I can take a router bit with a bearing on it and route out the tray, just running that bearing along the inside perimeter of the pattern. Taking shallow passes over and over until I get down to the depth that I want. I want the inside of my tray to be soft, so I'm gonna try to use some of this felt that has an adhesive backing to it. Never used it before, don't know if it'll work. We're gonna try. If it doesn't work, I do have a backup though, which is traditional flock and then a whole bunch of black fibers. I'm gonna cut a piece for the bottom first, make sure that's exactly how I want it. Then I'll cut some strips for the interior walls. So I'll just start with a corner, put a piece up against that corner, work my way all the way around, making sure that I press it really good up against those walls. Whenever that piece is done, put the next one up against it, and so on until I get all the way around. I went back and forth on what type of finish to use for this project, and it really comes down to that figured grain. So I made up a little homemade concoction here of polyurethane and oil. I'm gonna flood it into the surface, and then hopefully that will bring out the colors and all that cool figure in that walnut. Easy project, really takes no time at all to make, but it has a really big wow factor. If I was gonna make one, I might as well just make multiple of them while I have the tool set up and just batch them out, because I think they're pretty good gifts. You can put them in stockings or something like that. They're kind of the perfect size to give away, and they don't take a whole lot of material, which is a big plus. Hope you liked the video, and until we meet again, get in your shop and build something awesome.